It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hey, Heather. How's it going?
Man, I am feeling good.
Yeah?
Oh, I know. I should have told you to sit down.
What? So why are you feeling so good?
I don't know if it's like, I think it's like a combination of things, but I started on these new vitamins. It's not something like, whatever people are on Facebook and Instagram plugging. It's some like super holistic and it's a lot of vitamins. It's like 8. It's a multivitamin, but you have to take 8 pills throughout the day.
Oh, wow.
So It's a lot. It's dedication. It's hard. I haven't gotten the pattern of my day because you have to take it with food. So I'm trying to figure out what, and anyway, so long story, but I don't know if it's because of that or I've switched up my schedule a little bit. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the, just like a schedule, but let's hear how you're doing first.
Oh, I'm a ginormous ball of stress, just money stress. And just we're having troubles with a couple of my bank accounts that are the ones that are under my son's name as well. And there's this big fraud thing that somebody tried to deposit like a $3,200 check into his account. And the bank basically was like, oh, no, you tried to do that. I was like, where in the hell are we going to get some check for $3,200? And they sent us a picture of it. And it's like from some housing authority. It has his name on it, but it could be that somebody else with the same name, So I think it's a bank screw up. But of course, the banks are just like, no, that's your fault.
Okay.
And you look at the endorsement, and the endorsement's like like a business stamp. You know how businesses just stamp an endorsement?
Yeah.
And it's that. And I'm like, again, where in the hell are we going to get that? So I'm trying to call them because then now in the meantime, they've also frozen the accounts.
Yeah. So shouldn't they be able to track it, like where it was deposited, how it was deposited?
It says it's a mobile deposit.
So then,
interesting. Who the hell knows? And then of course I get on the phone with the bank and I called my local banker. She tried getting a hold of National and she spent 40 minutes on hold. I've spent 40 minutes on hold. Can't get a hold of them. It's just.
Do you need me to handle this? I'm good at escalating things.
Yeah.
I am actually really, really good at escalating things.
I believe that somehow.
And most of the time I really try to keep the crazy in, but sometimes, man, it comes out. But I really try to be very diplomatic in saying it and like being like, I'm hanging on by a thread right now. So I'm really going to need some help here.
So I'm going to maybe steal some of that. I need some strategy because I'm always too nice.
For sure.
Yes.
No. And be concerned, use your voice, but also try to, and reassure them. Like, I know this isn't you. I understand this isn't you, but that doesn't negate my frustration. How can you help me?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to do that. I've got to drink a pile of super caffeinated tea and just be ready to go to war and sit first. But, and then the whole time you're sitting there on hold for 40 minutes. Oh my
God. And then by the time they get, you're like, wait, I'm in the middle of something. Wait, what's going on?
Exactly. Damn it. I just took a bite of my sandwich.
I think we need I'll start providing the service to people should they choose it. We'll do like a little Cyrano thing where I'm in your ear and I'm telling you what to say.
Yes.
I'm
totally.
Got it.
Like how to be a bitch, like Cyrano bitch. Like what can we call it?
Well, it's not like, okay, guys, it's not a Karen. It's not and I apologize to my mother-in-law because she's like, why does it always have to be Karen? I feel bad, but that's what it's deemed. And so it is.
Being firm.
Yeah. Like I'm not like, this is something that has gone wrong. It's not because I want something free. It's not because I'm just trying to cause a stir. It's not because I have a vendetta. It's because like this needs to be resolved. And the places, there is breakdown in corporate America. There's breakdown in every organization really. And so it's like where to find that breakdown and fix it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be polite until I'm on my reaching. Like, there's one time with Apple when they first came out with the iPhone, probably 2 or 3 versions in, I was having so many problems. And this is when I was getting paid some like crazy money to be on the radio and, for doing notes. So,
I was going to say, whoever gets paid as a former radio person gets paid crazy amounts to be on the radio.
Remotes. So, I mean, I left out. I was like, listen, I get paid. It was like $50 an hour. I was like, I get
Yeah.
paid $50 an hour. I've been on the phone with you guys for like 7 hours. I'm more than happy to bill you for every hour that I've been on the phone with you.
Mhm.
Who do you think is going to win at this point?
Exactly.
So she's like, okay. And so they're like, well, we'll do it this time. I'm like, yeah, don't stop. Like, And now like, I love that. I loved Apple. I've always loved Apple. It's their customer service is top notch.
Well, the money that you spend on an iPhone
Totally.
has to go somewhere.
100%. And it's true, but it's true. It's just like Starbucks, it's like everybody wants to hate on Starbucks for being so expensive, but majority of the time, and let me tell you, there's been times that I've had not so great with Apple and not so great with Starbucks, but 9 times out of 10, because they treat their employees right and train them right, you're not going to have a complaint.
Yes. Oh, no, that's true. I mean, I have to say, like Chick-fil-A, I always use that as other names. Yeah. Chick-fil-A. That's what, when I first moved to the South, they didn't have them up north. And I was like, what is this Chick-fil-A place? I didn't know it was Chick-fil-A. Yeah. There's probably something missing somewhere in my brain. But anyway, I've said that to Luke. I'll say, hey, you notice that they're better. There's got to be, it's not just all fast food. Everybody has to be a butt munch,
Yeah.
So somehow they've cracked the code in how to get people to be, have good customer service at a fast food place. And look how popular they are. So I try to use that as a learning tool with him. But yeah, absolutely. And Chick-fil-A is not cheap either for fast food.
No,
but it is damn good. I miss Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So I think that we can all, just anyways, I don't know where we got down this rabbit hole, but yes, it's you treat your employees right. Pay them well, give them benefits and perks and whatever else that they need. But it's also not throwing that. Like, you can definitely tell that those employers are truly giving a shit about their employees. It's not like, oh, here, I'm paying you, here's some money, here's this. Like, you can definitely tell that like they're treated well outside, because money's not everything, right? And money and benefits aren't everything.
No, quality of life. Quality of life. And that's,
sure.
I've worked for a place that they felt that they were paying me plenty. And they basically, every time they would pile on something more for me to do, I would say, hey, wait a minute, this wasn't the original agreement. I get paid X to do Y. And now you're adding on Z and plus. And that's not part of the original agreement. And their attitude was, well, but we're paying you X. We're paying you so much. I'm like, first of all, it's not so much. But second of all, that wasn't the agreement and you don't own me. And so my quality of life quickly diminished, and needless to say, I left that place. But so quality of life and the way that you're treated is a big part of it. It's not just the money.
So I'm horrible at sticking up for myself in a job. So you can provide that service to me, and I will provide.
I am good at that
kind of assistance with companies out, personal companies.
Yeah, no, I've actually, now, of course, I work for myself. Thank God. I love working for myself.
But your boss is real big.
Right? But working for other people, even before I was able to work for myself. I was very clear on, this is, even when I was in my early 20s, I remember, even though it was scary as hell, asking for a raise or whatever.
Yeah.
It's, in my mind, this is a transaction. You pay me X for me to do Y. And if you start putting more and more on me, then you should pay me more. It just seems like simple math to me.
Totally.
But a lot of people would just complain about it and not go
me.
And ask for the raise, or go and say, hey, you're treating me like shit. Of course, you're a little more diplomatic than that. But anyway, so I was always good at that. But when it comes to this personal stuff, like sitting on hold with the bank and dealing with, now, as we're talking this through, this has been very cathartic for me, actually, because I'm starting to realize, the bank thing, why should I let them? I need to start thinking about it in a different light. I need to think about it the way I would handle it in a job, right?
Yes.
This is my personal finances. This is my job to take care of my finances. So what the hell?
Yeah.
See, and you'd think that would be so obvious. See, thanks, Heather.
Yeah,
you helped me work through that.
Listen, I am a problem solver. Not for my own life, but for everyone else's.
Next, you're flying over here to help me organize my pantry, and we'll be
yes. So let's get into today's topic, which is one size fits all.
Right. But I think this kind of ties in actually a little bit, because it's all about feeling better, like how you can manage your life to feel better, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the things
Definitely.
you
And
can
what
do.
fits best for you. So one size fits all. Your shirt that we know the one size fits all shirts and are now like one size fits most. And I think that's
Mhm.
how we need to go about every other thing in life because there's so many people out there. And I feel like I'm on information overload constantly because this person says this and this person says,
Mhm.
and rooted in all of these opinions and people and expert advice is a center saying like this is what is best practice, but it may not be
Right.
best practice for you. So for me, and I'm very fortunate that I get to work from home. I've been working from home for 5 years now, and I refuse to take a job outside of my home because I've got my like kind of like routine going, and I know that I can be flexible most of the time. Obviously I have some days I have back-to-back meetings and that sucks, and it is what it is, but it's part of my job. And so my biggest thing was I'm trying to work out again. I've been working out and I get up at like 5 a.m. to work out. Like, yeah, suck it. Right. I hated it. And like, so I would do it. I would get up, I would work out, but I was just like, But
Yeah.
within, 10 minutes or so, I would get into it. I wouldn't even think about the time, but I hated it. And on top of that, Brad leaves the house at like 6. So if I don't get up like right on the dot and, brush my teeth and put my contacts in and get dressed and get down to the basement, then I'm constantly looking out for Baker. And is he waking up? Where's he get? Cause I work out in the basement and he is on the second floor. And so I have to keep an eye on him, but then sometimes he comes into our bedroom and like, it just is stressful. And so it just wasn't fitting for me. I can wake up at 5:30 or whenever, not 5, and start cleaning or reading a book or checking emails or something like that. So I'll clock in a little bit earlier so I can work out and take a shower later in the day. And that has been working really well for this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like, so I don't know if that's part of like my heightened energy, but I will say that I'm super freaking tired at night. Like last night we were in bed by 9:30 after 10, but I fell asleep on the couch at like 8:30.
Well, but that's not such a bad thing because it's when you get into bed and you really should be asleep by 10 o'clock and you can't fall asleep, that really sucks. So, that I think that's helpful. Then you can pass out at 10 and be good to go early in the morning, not at 5, but early,
Yeah.
And feel refreshed.
Well, not refreshed, awake. Well, because we're
Awake.
still dealing with Baker. Like, so he
Oh
takes
no.
well, he takes naps at school. He does not take naps at home. So on the
Mhm.
weekends, it's great. He like sleeps through the whole night and it's perfect. But during the week, because he takes a nap, he goes to bed a little bit earlier and then he wakes up throughout the night because he's not that tired. And so he's been
Yeah.
like, but it's really cute though. Now he's like grabbing stuffed animals from his bed before he comes to the door. He like comes to the door with stuffed animals. He's like, I want to come sleep with you. And then
It brings his friends.
Yeah.
Me and my friends. Well, but see,
yeah.
well, you want to talk about one size fits most. That always annoyed. Well, that's how Luke got kicked out of Montessori school. Mutual agreement because he didn't want to take naps and he was always terrible about sleeping through the night. And they basically said he's disruptive. He can't, he wants to talk to all the other kids while the other kids are napping. And it was so frustrating because I'm like, wait a minute, this is Montessori. You're supposed to be more about the individual learning, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently not. So
also, why couldn't he just go up to another class for an hour or 2?
Yeah, well, it was a very small school. So it was like literally this tiny little, like it was all of about like 4 rooms. One of them was an office, So I just but I think that could have messed with his sleeping at night because same thing with me on the weekends. It'd be like, well, he doesn't want a nap. He doesn't need a nap. He's fine. And, good to go. But that's the way that we're taught. Oh, well, this works for most everybody. So that's what you should do. Your kid should have a nap. And, that's how it should be. So to your point, it doesn't fit. Just because it works for most people doesn't mean it works for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So and that I always talk about my acupuncturist and all the things that you get all this information about diet and nutrition. And I've been following a diet that she recommends for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll have other people say, oh, well, if you look great, you've lost so much weight. And I'm like, yeah. And I feel pretty good. And they'll say, oh, well, but have you tried blah? Well, no, or like vitamin D. Yes. Well, I do take vitamin D. It's in this liquid form that I buy from her. Oh, but you need to try this new vitamin D. And how many milligrams? Like everybody's an expert. How many milligrams are you taking? Like, I'm sorry, but my acupuncturist knows me. She knows I've got a very specific diet and vitamins that I take based on what she says. And no offense to you, but what you've read online is not going to change my mind or make me add something that maybe she says I shouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody's an expert. So, not that there's anything wrong with trying stuff out. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with trying something out and doing your research and whatever. And if it does happen to work for you, that's great, but just like with, I'm really big on the eat right for your blood type. Because that's worked for me. That's pretty much how I eat. And in case anybody wanted information about that, there's an app you can download. It's like $10 and it explains the theory. And then it lists all the food. So if you know what your blood type is, like I'm a type A, it lists all the foods I should and shouldn't eat, which is really cool. And I've found that works really well for me. But it explains too why a lot of people, when they are doing the caveman diet, whatever, the paleo, all meat and vegetables, I would try that and not lose any weight and not necessarily even feel all that great. And people are like, oh, you just need to stick through it, because you're doing ketosis or whatever, just because you're missing sugar. I'm like, I still don't feel good. I'm still not losing weight. Well, that's because I'm type A. I actually can eat like rice and all that stuff and lose weight. But someone who's type O, according to the theory, needs to be more on the paleo, meat, vegetables diet. And typically that's what works best for them. That's the theory. If you want to look at eat right for your blood type, if you want to look it up. So again, that whole craze, it never worked for me. And I always felt like maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know, but that was what worked for me.
I know. It's just there's just such an inundation with information out there. Like I did because when we talked about it, I did the poop test where it tells you what you literally based on your gut biome and everything. And it changes what is good and bad for you because, just dependent on what is actually in your body. And man, I hated that test only because, it was very informative, but it's just like, oh, you get all the shitty vegetables that are super bitter and gross. And like, you can't have anything fun. But I don't know. I didn't stick to it and I would like to do it again, but now they have like a subscription and you have to do, I'm just like, oh, no, I hate subscription models. I hate.
Oh, me too. Because then you got to cancel them and then this money's coming out of your account and you got to cancel them and you're like, damn it.
Well, it's just like, can I just buy something? Can I just freaking buy something? That's all I want is to just buy something.
Pay for it once and it's all done.
Yeah. It's like I used to be able to do that with Office. Now you can't do that. Well, I think you can do it with Office, but like QuickBooks, you can't buy QuickBooks anymore. You have to do a subscription model, even if you have the desktop version.
Yes.
And I'm just,
I'm with you on that.
It's just exhausting, you guys. It's exhausting.
Yeah. I feel like I'm constantly, somebody's hand is always in my wallet.
Do you think that we're going to the pendulum is going to swing to the other side just based on banking and everything, that we're going to go to cash and people are going to be like, screw you, banks. I'm going cash only.
With all my bank situations and even Luke and, now he's with this experience because it's his accounts that have been frozen. And he was like, Mom, this is disgusting.
Yeah,
I know. And the bank has control. It's my money. It's our money. And there's hundreds of dollars that we can't get to right now because of that. And I've got to sit on hold for 2 hours. Yeah. So anyways, so it's possible that his, the Gen Zers will be like, I'm putting it under because you certainly don't earn any interest by putting it in a bank account.
No,
So,
but you can buy things though that you can't.
yeah, buy things online. That's the only problem. So I don't think it'll totally go to that, but yeah.
It's so frustrating. So frustrating keeping up with all the freaking subscription models.
I know. Well, I wanted to swing back though, real quick, because about you feeling good and the
God, you got me in such a shitty mood. Thanks.
sorry. Remember, you're feeling great, but you had
I am feeling
mentioned
great.
not just the working out thing, but about you have mentioned to me about we've touched on the fact that you have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that you think you might have found some vitamins that help you with that. So I thought maybe
I found I've been doing a lot of research on it because it was basically like, hey, you have PCOS and, just work out and eat right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's sad because it's like nobody really knows about it and, or knows a lot about it. So it's very frustrating. So the one that I'm taking, the vitamin that I'm taking, and we're not like a dealer or, whatever.
No, it's not. Yeah.
I am not. It's called Full Circle Prenatal. And the person one of the people that I follow on Instagram, Robin Johnson, not related to Shalene Johnson, but she used to be on her team. And that's how I know about her. But it's Full Circle Prenatal. And she is super geeky and nerdy about all things science and body and nutrition and registered. I think she's a registered dietitian. I don't know, but she has credentials. I just don't know what those are right off the hand. And so she suggested them. And so obviously I was like, well, I'm going to try it. I mean, they're not cheap. They're like, it's like 40 or $50 a month, but if I'm feeling better, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Subscription model. Thank you very much. But that's something that I can get on board with is like that kind of like something that I'm consistently getting versus a software or something that annoys me. And
yes, no, exactly. Tangible things. Yes.
Yeah. It's like something that I'm actively using every day versus I use it once to inform me and then I'll maybe circle back around to it here and there. That's not, no, pass. Yeah. But I've been doing other research on PCOS and I'm taking bits and pieces from everything so that the poop test that I took, I know that corn doesn't do well with me because of how my body metabolizes it. It turns it to sugar, which is not good for my body. And so so for PCOS, it's gluten-free and dairy-free is what a lot of I've been reading about, which is so sad for me, but it's okay. So I can do it. It's fine. But a lot of gluten-free things are corn. And so I have like an extra added thing right there. And then also magnesium. So evidently with PCOS, PCOS causes anxiety, which makes so much sense because I've had anxiety my entire life. I'm always hyper anxious and hyper like thinking, oh my gosh, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Did I make somebody mad? And I'll send an email. I'm like, did I say, what does that mean to it? I was like, and sometimes it's valid and sometimes it's not. But I shouldn't be that anxious. And so I'm really trying to work on, like, I've put it out. I don't care. I'm moving on. Like if somebody takes it the wrong way, I will address it then. But if not, we're just moving forward. Right. So, but magnesium is supposed to be really good to offset that. So I've been trying to take magnesium powder every day after I work out. So, yeah.
No, I've heard about that. Magnesium is good for keeping you calm. I've heard that. And I think that's in one of the many things that I take that my acupuncturist, some of it, it has Chinese lettering on it. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but okay. Sounds good. Pizza? I know there's one thing that I drink as tea and again, it just says something like, strong health in middle. That's so I think it's supposed to be for your gut, for your stomach, strong health in middle. Okay, whatever it is, it works. It makes me feel good. It helps me poop good. So there you go. Sorry, TMI.
Excellent.
So yeah, strong health in middle.
Nice.
So, but I mean, again, it all circles back to it helps if you have an expert that can lay their hands on you. But trying out all those different things, it's a what do you call it? A trial and error. Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely. And don't if you see a commercial for a vitamin or something like that, do your research on what it is.
Yes, don't just order it.
Go follow Robin Johnson on Instagram. Oh gosh, what is her?
And again, we don't get kickbacks from any of this.
No, I don't.
None of this we get kickbacks for. So
I just love her, and she is and like, so I trust her because she's super geeky and like knows her. It's Nutrition by Robin. She's a functional medicine dietitian, something.
Cool.
So,
yeah. Functional medicine. That's the more holistic approach. Yeah.
Yeah. And she'll go through and like debunk, like people will be like, oh, I heard these like certain vitamins are really cool. And she's like, okay, let's look at the label. And so she'll start reading through it. And she's like, this is really great values. These are really not, blah, blah, blah. And so it's great to kind of, because we all want to be like, Khloe Kardashian and I don't know, whoever else. That's just like my go-to. But what may work for them may not work for you either. You may not need all these things. Exactly. So just read your label, do your research, try not get overwhelmed, seek out somebody that you trust.
Yes. Like us, right?
Listen, if I will preach what I'm doing. You can follow it or not. It's not going to be any skin off my teeth, but know that we are not doing things. We are not saying or doing things because we're prompted by money or anything else. Because
we don't make any money.
Yeah, but even if we are an affiliate for anybody and we're working on that,
we always let you know. Yeah,
we'll let you know, and we're not going to lead you in a direction that is going to be something that is not good. So, like, we're not going to our knowledge, obviously.
Right. Exactly.
Some sketchy
we'll
shit
do our best to make sure we don't recommend something. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Phew. Well, on that note.
I'm so like, when I get on a rabbit hole, especially about like eating and nutrition, because Brad's like, well, why don't you do keto? I'm like, I'm not doing keto, Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, see, again, from my experience, it does not work for me. So there you go.
Well, I'm looping back to my vegan days where I didn't eat meat or any animal products. And I think I'm going to be leaning more towards that, more pescatarian, I think, because I love seafood, and there's certain seafood that's really good for me. Crabs is not one of them, which makes me super sad, but shrimp is. What's the difference? Don't freaking know. But the poop test told me that.
Yeah, I have the same, but for me, because I basically did an elimination diet and, in the beginning. Yeah. So I was told originally no shellfish at all, which again is one of my favorite foods. And I find they do affect me some, but the ones that are the worst are like clams and mussels. The ones that, there's a word for them. Is it bivalve? That I'm making the Pac-Man with my hand and you can't see me. Yeah. But you know what I mean? But like shrimp, not so bad. Crab, a little bit worse than shrimp, so I've learned that, but yeah. Yeah.
So the poop test was basically a jump, like a skip over the elimination diet. It told you what you should and shouldn't be eating.
Yeah.
And you go from there, and then you can add things in, but the things changed before I could go start eliminating the other things. So
yeah.
And then I couldn't go back to my original research. I was like, damn it.
Well, if anybody has any extra knowledge they'd like to share, they can email us, iCan'tMomTodayPodcast@gmail.com, or of course, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. I Can't Mom Today Podcast. And rate the podcast, please.
Yes. And in the show notes, we'll put the Nutrition by Robin, the poop test that I did. Vera will put the blood test, diet, and
we can
do the vitamins. We'll put everything in there so you don't have to frantically write while you're driving.
Yeah. Or wherever you may be experiencing this phenomenal podcast.
Yeah, on a plane, whatever. All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.